What's going on, vinyl community and those watching on YouTube? This is LJ, and welcome to Record Porn. Alright, so before it's record porn or combined therewith, it's actually a response to Corey Overkill Videos subscribers contest. Corey now has 400 or better subscribers, and he's having a contest or a thread to show albums that are celebrating a musical anniversary in 2014. What a great idea for a contest, Corey. Opens the floodgates 100%. Grab an album with a milestone anniversary, 10 years, 15, 20, 25, 30, and so on, and show it. The sky is the limit here. If you want to show something that's having its 10-year anniversary, find an album from 1994. It's that simple. It was a great idea, and I've really liked some of the responses. So my approach to this was to pick one album from 1979, one from 1984, one from 1989, and one from 1994. And then slip a couple honorable mentions in between. Corey, your channel is awesome. I love the editing that you do, the things that you bring to the table to try to keep it new and fresh and different, and your collection. Corey, you've added some amazing albums to your collection in the past year and a half. You've made some fantastic videos, and you're an integral part of the vinyl community here on YouTube. Corey, keep the fantastic videos and contributions to the vinyl community coming, and it will keep growing in just an amazingly positive light and way that it continues to do today. So here, starting with 1979, is my choice for an album that this year celebrates its 35th anniversary. Corey, I know you wanted us to talk about the album. Hands down, my favorite choice for favorite album from 1979, and therefore an album celebrating its anniversary, you know, I don't really have a whole lot to say about it. If it's not an album that you already know, it's an album that you should probably get familiar with. I'm sure we all know what this is. So, rather than talk it up, I'll just let you look at it. Call me when you're done. Nothing else to say, really. But now, for some honorable mentions, great albums from 1979. As these honorable mentions go through, for 79, 84, 89, and 94, bear in mind, these are just albums that came to mind, or I looked up quick online, and yep, they were released in that year. It's by no means a complete collection, but it is some of my favorite albums from those years. So, 1979 honorable mentions. Let's give her. There you go, my favorite album from '79 and some honorable mentions. I hope you pause the screen, jot down some notes. If you have any questions about any of the honorable mentions that we went through, leave them in the comments and I'll be happy to answer them. Otherwise, all worth checking out. Let's move on. 1984, albums that are now celebrating their 30th anniversary. Ugh, can't believe it's been that long. One of my absolute favorites, here is Iron Maiden's Power Slave. Iron Maiden's first album to feature the same lineup as the one that came before it, which would have been Peace of Mind. Phenomenal artwork. We spent hours trying to draw this on our math books, on our English books, never coming anywhere close as Derek Riggs' amazing artwork. This has what I believe is Maiden's longest song ever, Rime of the Ancient Mariner, which borrows from I don't know if it's a story or a poem, but it also launched the World Slavery Tour, which in my mind, is Iron Maiden's finest live moment ever. Live After Death. An amazing live album came straight from that tour. These days, it's not uncommon for Maiden to release live album after live album after live album. But when we were in junior high, and when we were in high school, there was only one live document of Iron Maiden, and it was Live After Death. So that is Iron Maiden's Power Slave, and you know the drill. Here comes another handful of honorable mentions from 1984. Take it. Everyone gets the point. Where do we go now? 1989. It is absolutely illegal. Illegal that it's been 25 years since 1989. But my hands down favorite album from 1989 is now and has always been Faith No More's The Real Thing. This is the first album that featured Mike Patton on vocals. This album rocks, swings, bumps, grooves. It does just about everything. This was recently reissued by Music on Vinyl, and it was one of the happiest moments of the year to finally be able to own this on vinyl. It's an amazing album, front to back, one nobody should miss, and this held residency in my Walkman with a cassette for, I don't know, the front half of high school, freshman year, sophomore year. Absolutely unbelievable album. Pick it up. And once again, honorable mentions from 1989. Let's do it. But not least, 1994. Albums that now celebrate their 20th anniversary. First, probably my favorite album from that year, and maybe a little bit of commentary on 1994. I'm going to show you two albums. Why? Because vinyl was rare in 94. No, that's not why. Because in my personal opinion, to a large degree, music sucked in 1994. 1994 was the year of Hootie and the Blowfish, Alanis Morissette, Notorious B.I.G., and just a lot of other music that personally I could not stand or tolerate. Radio was oversaturated with things like Oasis and Madonna's bedtime stories, and if you like those things, cool, but I don't. So, I should start whining about grunge killed metal. No. Grunge did not kill metal. Metal killed metal. Metal took itself too seriously, got too corny, metal killed metal. Grunge did not kill metal. I know that's what's written all over the internet, and it needs to be put to bed and stop being rehashed and repeated. Metal killed metal. So there was not a whole lot of real good rock and metal in 1994. As a matter of fact, a lot of the headbangers from the 80s, myself included, found other things to invest their time in. Alt country, rock, and so forth. But there were still some bands that soldiered ever forward through the murky waters that were the mid-90s. First being Megadeth. This is Euthanasia, one of Megadeth's shining moments. Every Megadeth moment is a shining moment. I take that back. Every album they've ever released is their best. Happy to argue that one. This continues straightforward in the vein of Countdown to Extinction, which itself is another perfect album. This sounds very, very similar. There's a video that was released, and this is called Evolver, The Making of Euthanasia. A fantastic watch. Lots of recording while the album, or filming while the album was being made. Excellent stuff. Insight into the album itself. This album is tremendously difficult to find on vinyl, and this was given to me by Mibbertube here in the vinyl community. One of the favorite pieces in my collection, one of my favorite albums ever, Megadeth, euthanasia. So, without any need for elaborate effects here, here's the one other album that I wanted to show you from 1994, and then we'll close out the video. It's Pink Floyd's Division Bell. Not at all a bad album, definitely a runner-up. As far as I understand, these two statues that were erected for the front cover by Storm Thorgerson by Storm T now reside in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Pretty cool. It's a neat album. It obviously doesn't have Roger Waters on it. Another difficult to find legitimate copy of this album, which this one is, and it's a really good album. To be honest with you, it has Bob Ezrin back behind the mixing board producing, and Bob was responsible for The Wall, and he was also responsible for the album that preceded this one, which I actually like a bit better, Momentary Lapse of Reason. But still a phenomenal album. Corey, that's it. That's my response. And hey, if you don't mind, why don't you come on over and help me put all these away. Talk to you soon, vinyl community. Take care. Corey, congratulations. Rock on, my brother. Later.